Have you ever noticed how some men quietly destroy their own respect without even realizing it? Not through failure, not through weakness, but through the words they choose to speak. They talk too much. They explain themselves too fast. They brag too often. And every time they open their mouth, they bleed authority. You can recognize them anywhere. Loud voices, nervous energy, a constant need to sound intelligent. But the Stoic man moves differently. He understands that silence is not emptiness. It's strategy. He knows that once words leave your mouth, they can't be reclaimed, only regretted. As Epictetus warned, it is better to stumble with the feet than with the tongue, because words don't just describe who you are, they define you. In this video, we'll expose 7 things a foolish man always says and how each one can be replaced with the calm, disciplined mindset of a Stoic warrior. 1. I already know that. 3 words. They sound confident, but they slowly poison the mind. I already know that. The foolish man says it with pride, mistaking familiarity for mastery. But knowing something and living it are not the same. What he really knows is a fragment, something he once heard, once read, once repeated because it made him feel clever, and now he clings to it like armor. Why? Because admitting ignorance feels like weakness. So instead of growing, he defends what he knows while the world evolves without him. The Stoics saw this clearly, not as confidence, but as fear, the fear of becoming a student again. Epictetus said it plainly, "It is impossible to learn what you think you already know." That sentence should echo in the mind of any man who has closed himself off from growth. The Stoics didn't worship knowledge, they trained it. Wisdom wasn't a trophy to display, it was a muscle to be exercised. And like any muscle, it weakens when unused. A wise man doesn't enter a room thinking, "I already know." He enters asking, "What am I missing here?" He observes before speaking. He listens before arguing. He studies not to prove others wrong, but to sharpen his own clarity. Because real intelligence isn't having answers. It's never losing the hunger for better questions. Modern men confuse information with understanding. They scroll through podcasts, quotes, and videos and call it wisdom. But reading about discipline isn't discipline. Talking about strength isn't strength. Knowledge without action is just noise wearing a mask. The Stoic warrior understands this. Until truth becomes habit, it's still theory. So the next time you feel the urge to say, "I already know that," pause. Ask yourself instead, do I live this? Do I rise early like Marcus Aurelius taught? Or do I just quote him? Do I practice calm under insult? Or do I only agree with the idea? That's the dividing line between men who know and men who grow. The fool uses knowledge as a shield to hide behind. The Stoic uses it as a sword, sharpening it daily. One says, "I know," to end the conversation. The other says, "Tell me more," to expand his mind. That's why one remains defensive, easily offended, and small, while the other becomes steady, grounded, and endlessly evolving. So kill your arrogance, strip your mind bare, admit how little you know, because the moment you do, your mind becomes vast again. In a world full of self-proclaimed experts, the wisest man you'll ever meet is the one who still calls himself a student. 2. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. The reflex of the weak. The language of a man who hands his power to everyone except himself. Each time he says it, he shrinks. He blames his past, his boss, his parents, his luck, the economy, anyone, anything but himself. This is not strength, it's a plea for sympathy. And the world does not reward sympathy, it rewards responsibility. The Stoics understood this with brutal clarity. Every time you say, "It's not my fault," you construct a prison made of excuses, and you lock it from the inside. Because if nothing is your fault, then nothing is your responsibility. And if nothing is your responsibility, then nothing will ever truly be your victory. Epictetus said it plainly. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. That wasn't philosophy for comfort. It was a survival rule. The man who accepts responsibility becomes dangerous in the best way, because he stops waiting for fairness. He accepts reality as it is. People will betray you. Life will disappoint you. Storms will arrive without warning. But your response, That is your weapon. The fool curses the wind. The Stoic learns how to sail. The fool blames the rain. The Stoic builds shelter. The fool waits for kindness. The Stoic trains for strength. Responsibility is not punishment. It is freedom. The moment you stop pointing fingers, your hands are finally free to build something real. Blame feels good, temporarily, like scratching an itch that only gets worse. It's easier to say, "My past ruined me," than to admit you ignored the warning signs. Easier to say, "My boss hates me," than to confront declining effort. But that comfort comes at a price. Your power. The more you blame, the weaker you become. The Stoics didn't see responsibility as shame. They saw it as ownership. Marcus Aurelius wrote nightly about his own failures, not to punish himself, but to refine himself. Because the man who can say, "This is on me," is also the man who can say, "I can fix this." And that is the man the world respects. So next time the words, "It's not my fault," rise to your lips, stop. Look at the situation clearly and ask, what part of this can I control? What lesson can I take? What action can I take today? That's how Stoic warriors think. They don't waste breath on blame. They invest energy into solutions. Remember this. Every excuse you make today becomes the chain you wear tomorrow. And every moment you accept full responsibility, even when it's uncomfortable, you forge armor around your character. The world doesn't admire complainers. It respects men who own their story, rewrite it, and move forward without bitterness. So remove the phrase, "It's not my fault." Replace it with something far more powerful. I take responsibility. That isn't weakness, that is sovereignty. 3. I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care what anyone thinks. A sentence that sounds bold, but often masks insecurity. It sounds like freedom, like rebellion, like confidence. But look closer. It's rarely spoken by men who are truly free. It's spoken by men who've already been judged, already been wounded, and now wear indifference as armor. He repeats it not for others, but to convince himself. The truth is simple. The louder a man claims he doesn't care, the more tightly he's still attached. Because indifference born from bitterness isn't strength. It's pain pretending to be pride. The Stoics never taught us to ignore opinions completely. They taught us to filter them. Marcus Aurelius didn't say, "Shut the world out." He said, "If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it." That's Stoic balance. You don't reject all feedback. You evaluate it. You don't silence every voice. You decide which ones deserve space in your mind. The fool thinks freedom means rebellion. The Stoic knows freedom means self-mastery. Because the moment you feel the need to announce that you don't care, you've already surrendered control. The wise man doesn't argue with opinions. He acts with integrity and lets results speak in silence. Ask yourself this. If someone's judgment can steal your peace, is it really their opinion that's powerful, or your attachment to it? The Stoic draws that boundary carefully. He asks, "Is this within my control?" If not, he releases it. Because real strength doesn't need slogans. It doesn't broadcast defiance. It moves quietly, guided by purpose. The fool reacts. The Stoic responds. The fool speaks to be noticed. The Stoic acts to be remembered. There's a difference between caring and craving approval. Caring builds connection. Craving destroys self-respect. The goal isn't to stop caring, it's to care selectively. Care about your integrity, your word, your actions, your principles. Care about becoming someone you would respect, even if no one else ever sees it. Because the man who tries to please everyone loses himself. But the man who lives by virtue earns respect without asking. That's the paradox. When you stop chasing validation, people begin to trust you. When you stop shouting, "I don't care," your silence starts speaking for you. True power is not apathy. It's the ability to care and still remain unshaken. That calm, unmovable state. The Stoics called it tranquility. Live like that, and you'll never need to say the words at all. 4. That's just how I am. Those words sound innocent, but hidden inside them is the slow death of growth. That's just how I am is not honesty. It's resignation. It's the slogan of a man who has chosen comfort over character. Each time he says it, he locks himself into a small, well-decorated prison called identity. He fills it with excuses and labels it authenticity. But that isn't authenticity. That is surrender. No man is born fixed. We are shaped, either by discipline or by decay. To say, that's just how I am, is to declare, I refuse to change. And nothing corrodes the soul faster than pride and stagnation. The Stoics saw this danger long before modern psychology named it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That power means you are not chained to yesterday's habits. You can reshape your temperament, retrain your reactions, rewrite your patterns. The Stoics didn't excuse their flaws, they trained beyond them. Epictetus was born a slave, beaten and crippled, yet rose as a teacher of emperors. Seneca was exiled and disgraced, yet turned isolation into inner strength. They didn't cling to labels, they shattered them. The fool says, "I'm just impatient." The Stoic replies, "Then I will train patience." The fool says, "I'm emotional." The Stoic answers, "Then I will master emotion." Stoicism is not denial of who you are. It is commitment to who you can become. Today, men hide behind personality tests and zodiac signs. I'm introverted. I'm impulsive. As if letters or stars could decide destiny. But you are not your type. You are your training. Every time you act against your weakest pattern, you loosen its grip. You evolve. The Stoic warrior doesn't say, "That's just how I am." He says, "That's who I used to be." Change is not betrayal. It is refinement. The oak does not apologize for outgrowing the seed. The butterfly does not regret the cocoon. Growth is not arrogance. It is duty. So when your mind whispers, "That's just how I am," pause and ask, is this who I choose to be? Or who I've been too lazy to outgrow? Character is forged moment by moment, one disciplined choice at a time. Stop using personality as a cage. Use it as a forge. 5. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. The most expensive sentence a man can speak. It steals dreams, erodes discipline, wastes the one currency you can never earn back, time. Every foolish man believes there will always be more of it. I'll start next week. I'll change soon. I'll get serious after this phase. Soon becomes someday. Someday becomes never. Seneca warned, while we delay, life passes. Procrastination doesn't feel dangerous. It feels comfortable. It disguises itself as control. I could act now, but I'll wait. But later is a liar. Later does not exist. It is a phantom that lives in the mouths of weak men, promising comfort while quietly killing greatness. The Stoic understands this truth. Action is the cure. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Get up. Stop letting your mind delay what must be done." The Stoic does not wait to feel ready. He acts and becomes ready through action. He knows momentum builds strength, not motivation. Many men talk endlessly about goals. They plan, they visualize, they discuss discipline. Talking feels productive. It gives a small rush of pride. But talk is not transformation. Planning is not change. Each day they say later, the distance grows between who they are and who they could have been. To the Stoics, this was self-betrayal. The enemy was not failure, it was hesitation. There is no perfect time. There is only now. When the mind says later, the Stoic answers now. Because now is where strength is forged. Every hard conversation, every first rep, every uncomfortable step taken immediately, that is how willpower is rebuilt. So choose one thing you've been avoiding and do it today, not tomorrow, not soon, today. Because hesitation has buried more dreams than failure ever will. 6. Nobody respects me. Nobody respects me. It sounds like pain, but beneath it is often a confession. I haven't been respecting myself. Respect is rarely lost suddenly. It's surrendered slowly, one compromise at a time. Every broken promise to yourself, every tolerated insult, every moment you choose approval over principle, until one day no one listens, no one values your words, no one takes you seriously. But the Stoics were clear. Respect is not requested, it is reflected. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no time debating what a good man should be. Be one. You don't demand respect. You embody it through consistency, through restraint, through integrity when no one is watching. The fool complains about disrespect while living in ways that invite it. He lies, he gossips, he loses control, he breaks his word. Then he wonders why he's ignored. The Stoic understands this law. The world mirrors your inner discipline. When you control your emotions, people feel it. When you speak less and deliver more, people notice. Respect is gravity. It pulls others toward those who live with order. Attention can be bought. Respect must be earned. It begins in silence, in self-mastery. When you lose control, you hand someone else the wheel of your mind. When you complain, you shrink. When you react, you reveal weakness. The Stoic responds, and that restraint gives weight to his words. Respect begins the moment you stop betraying yourself. Keep your word. Finish what you start. Walk away from gossip. End toxic conversations without explanation. These small, unseen actions build an unseen reputation. And over time, that reputation becomes presence. So never say, "Nobody respects me." Say instead, "I am rebuilding my respect." One choice at a time. Because respect is not given, it is reflected. 7. Life is unfair. Life is unfair. Every weak man repeats those words like a prayer. He says them when he's overlooked, betrayed, ignored, or broken. He uses them to justify his anger, his bitterness, his surrender. But the Stoics would meet his eyes and say, "Of course it's unfair. It was never meant to be fair. It was meant to test you." Life doesn't distribute equal comfort. It distributes challenges. And those who turn injustice into fuel rise. Those who turn it into excuses decay. Seneca wrote, "Fire tests gold. Adversity tests the brave." The Stoics didn't complain about hardship. They trained for it. Marcus Aurelius buried children, endured betrayal, disease, and war, and still ruled with calm and mercy. Why? Because he understood this truth. Fairness is not about what happens to you. It's about how you respond. The fool believes life owes him comfort. The Stoic knows life owes him nothing, and that realization sets him free. When you stop expecting fairness, every difficulty becomes training. Every setback becomes resistance. Every insult becomes a test of self-control. You either grow bitter or you grow stronger. You cannot do both. If life were always fair, you would never evolve, never discover your limits, never build resilience. Unfairness sharpens you. Rejection forces self-respect. Loss teaches endurance. Pain reveals discipline. Comfort breeds mediocrity. Adversity forges strength. That's why the Stoics didn't pray for easy lives. They prayed for strong minds. The fool curses the storm. The Stoic learns how to move through it, because every storm reveals who you are. Your patience, your courage, your restraint. And if you fail, good. Now you know what needs training. Modern culture confuses suffering with injustice. We vent, we complain, we demand sympathy, but pain doesn't disappear because you talk about it. It disappears when you outgrow it. The Stoic doesn't seek revenge or pity. He seeks mastery. He asks one question: what is this moment trying to teach me? And in that question, he regains control. No one can make life fair, but you can make yourself formidable. You can become the man who turns disadvantage into discipline, who focuses entirely on what's within reach. So when life strikes, and it will, don't whine. Don't explain. Don't beg for understanding. Look for the lesson. Every betrayal trains detachment. Every setback trains endurance. Every unfair moment exposes what still needs strength. Stop saying life is unfair. Say instead, life is testing me, and I'm ready. Because the Stoic truth is simple. The world doesn't need to be fair for you to be great. It only requires discipline, calm, and resolve. Acceptance, not fairness, is the path to peace. Stop demanding a perfect world. Build a perfect response. That's how a man becomes untouchable. That's how a warrior is forged. Remember this. A foolish man speaks to defend his ego. A wise man speaks to sharpen his mind. In the end, your words always expose you. Your fear or your discipline, your pride or your clarity. The fool says, "I already know." The Stoic says, "Teach me." The fool blames the world. The Stoic owns his choices. The fool speaks to impress. The Stoic speaks with truth, restraint, and purpose.